Hello and welcome to another edition of the What Are We Thinking vlog. Is vlog still a word? Are we still using that word? I'm not sure. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know if vlog is still a thing. Anyway, let's get on with it. This video, I was going to attempt to show you guys how to winterize, or how we winterize our generator. But it didn't quite work out that way, as you're about to see. So the reason we heat our engine room is that all of our water flows through there. So all of the pipes and everything are down there, the water pump, the water heater. So everything needs to still flow through the winter. It also helps to keep the floor in our salon a little bit warmer. So it just makes sense to heat down there. However, if we were to have an experience where we were to lose electricity, like this past summer, we went 5.5 weeks without power. If we lost power, what could happen is the water that runs through our generator and our engines could actually freeze and expand, and that could cause serious damage to them. So we've had two different boat neighbors, in the same slip, mind you, although in different years, of course, sink their boats or damage their boats because they didn't winterize their engines. So we winterize. It's not that difficult, or at least it shouldn't be that difficult. Well, you can take a look at this video and see how things didn't go quite as planned to get this generator winterized. We are going to post how we actually winterize the engines and generator. That'll probably come next week, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching and enjoy. So this is RV antifreeze. So it says that it's good to -50 degrees, right? So hopefully we would never experience that kind of cold here. The other thing is it will get diluted a little bit with water that is in the systems, in the engines and the generator. So we want to make sure that we get the coldest possible antifreeze that we have. And this is the kind of stuff that you put into an RV in the winter to winterize the water systems. It is technically drinkable. We use it because it's cheap. I know that some people also use windshield washer fluid, which I believe is alcohol based. This is based on propylene glycol, which is basically antifreeze. The first thing that we need to do is we need to start this puppy up, let it run for a while. I'll maybe even put it under a little bit of a load just to make sure that it gets up to full operating temperature. You know, yesterday I was doing this too and couldn't get the damn thing to start. So I was hoping today maybe some fuel had moved through the lines. We haven't run it in a little while, so I think that the fuel line that's coming in is actually kind of dry. Okay, so I just started this engine. I didn't let it run for very long. I didn't want it to be warm. It's still nice and cold, but at least I know that the fuel is flowing through that line and it's closer now, hopefully, to the generator. I also noticed that the generator was set up. I have switches that I can choose which fuel tank, because I have fuel tanks on each side. I can choose which fuel tank it pulls from. So this generator was set to pull from the starboard, but I'm going to try to pull it from the port, which is closer as well. So let's see if it starts this time. Well, the next thing that I think I might try is I do have a water separating filter right here. So I might pop this off and see if maybe there's a slug of water got in there or something and it's just not getting enough fuel to run. Okay, so here I am, put on some blue gloves, got some rags down here. I'm gonna pull this guy off. I also grabbed a mouthwash container that I threw away yesterday. hopefully it's large enough. And I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to look and see if there's any water in there. Of course, whoever put it on nice and tight. Well, we're in luck. I do have a tool. These are not my favorite. They usually tear the thing apart, so I don't like using them in case for an instance like this where it's not bad and I want to reuse it. But I have a spare filter, so at least I have another that I can put on here if I tear this one up. So let's see how it goes. So I could hear a little bit of pressure escaping there. So there was pressure in the fuel system, it sounds like. So now that I have the fuel filter off, I'm going to pour it in here. Hopefully it'll all fit, and we'll see if there's any water in there. All right, so here you can see I have my flashlight behind this, and this is all fuel as far as I can see. I don't see any water. You would see like a bubble or something, or some cloudiness on the bottom, multiple bubbles if there was any water in there. So it looks like there's no water in the fuel, so that is not our issue, which is a good thing. I decided while I have the fuel filter off, the old one off, might as well put the new one on. They're cheap, doesn't cost that much. So I'm just unwrapping this new one, but there's no reason I can't reuse the fuel that was in there. As I've found, it doesn't look like there's any water at all, so it looks really good. So I'm going to try to very carefully pour the fuel into the new fuel filter. When I screw it back in, there's already fuel right next to the generator. So let's see how this goes here. Oh yeah. So I'm spilling a lot more than I'd like. So let's try to get this towel underneath here. These towels are gonna go straight in the garbage. Although they probably make pretty good fire starters today. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is not like the way you would change an oil filter where you put a little bit of oil on the gasket to seal it properly. So there is, I'm sure, a little bit of fuel still on there, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. All right, so we're going back up. I like to go back a little bit, and then you can kind of find right where the edge of that thread is. And that helps to thread it back on. Once you get it perfectly right, you definitely do not want to cross thread this stuff. Okay, so now it's getting tight. I'm just gonna kind of hand tighten it here. That should be plenty. I also like, now the brand name is out and you can see the model number. So every time I change a filter of any sort, I try to put the date on. All right, so I have the old fuel filter, that container, all the rags that I used. I cleaned any sort of spillage area up. I have all of that out in a garbage bag off the boat. But the first thing that I want to do, since I've had fuel open in the engine room, is I want to turn on the blowers. So the blowers will take any sort of those fumes outside of the boat. So pretty easy. Okay, so I let the blowers run for about 5 minutes. I'm doing the smell test. I don't smell any gas vapors down here, any fumes. So I'm gonna give this another shot, see what happens. You'll also notice this is my reservoir for the coolant. This generator, even though it's been rebuilt, the mechanic who did it didn't do a very good job, and it uses a lot of coolant. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a coolant level low sensor or something. So I think I might put a little distilled water in there right now and see if that helps it. All right, so I just filled the radiator here with a little distilled water and about almost a half a gallon, and it still didn't top up. I don't want to put any more water in there. I really want it to be coolant, but I'm going to see if it'll start. Again, doesn't seem to want to go. As I said, I don't really like to use starter fluid. I actually looked, I don't even have any right now. So I have plenty of carb and choke cleaner, but that's not going to help to start it. So let's move on to plan B. Well, I decided to try it a couple more times and it's almost there. It's almost catching, so we'll see. Running. I'm going to keep an eye on the oil pressure and make sure that it's running okay. Try to get it up to temperature. As I was cutting this together, I just couldn't bring myself to make it last any longer because there's quite a bit more to actually show you how we do the winterization of the generator. And as I started thinking about it, I thought that maybe we should do the generator, and I'd like to show you how to do the engines as well. But I do need a buddy to help with winterizing the engines because I need someone to start them while I'm downstairs. So that's going to be our next episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode on me trying to figure out what was wrong with the generator. And I really don't think I figured it out. My best guess is that maybe the coolant reservoir or something in the system knew that the coolant was low, or maybe it just really took that long for the fuel to run into the carburetor and the float bowl to fill up. I don't know, but as you'll see in the next video, we do actually have it running and we winterize it. Well, thanks again for watching, and if you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the don't like button. I want to have feedback. If this is the kind of stuff that you guys want to see more of, I'll make it. If it's not, then I won't. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.